Aquarius, welcome to your reading. So I'm going to start here with your current energy and just see what is happening in your world. And your strength. And your potential outcome. So looking here, bottom of the deck, I am getting the King of Cups. The King of Cups is somebody who is emotionally mature, a lot of emotional intelligence. So that kind of realistic expectations on how things are going to play out, not this kind of idealistic or romanticized version of events, not at all. What I like about this and the way that all of this is unfolding, you're stepping into your emotional power and you're creating stability in yourself. The Ace of Pentacles is showing up here in where you are right now, and it's being influenced by the Judgment card. And so the Ace of Pentacles is a new beginning, one with a lot of stability, a lot of growth potential, but it's the Judgment card that I'm really drawn to. This is that resurrection energy. This is about you choosing yourself, choosing your path, prioritizing what really matters, but having these kind of realistic expectations around how things are going to unfold. You're not going to get these kind of quick wins. You're going to have to put effort into it, especially with that Pentacles energy. You recognize that you're going to have to put effort into whatever it is that you want to accomplish. In what you need to focus on, I'm getting the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is, I'm getting a heartfelt conversation. This is moving in the direction of what really matters, opening yourself up to new opportunities, possibilities. I'm even getting new people, so take that as it makes sense for you. That Page of Cups energy, it feels a lot like wearing your heart on your sleeve and not being afraid of expressing exactly what you want, because that King of Cups energy understands that you just honoring your own emotions, being true to yourself, and even saying it out loud, that's a strength. It's not a weakness here. The Magician showing up in the past energy, I mean, this is you manifesting. You manifested this new beginning, this new version of yourself, this evolved version of yourself that looks at everything through this realistic emotional lens, understands the impact of things. I just love the energy, the way that it's all kind of coming about, because you manifested this. That's how it is. Showing up here in your strength position is the Nine of Swords. Now, the Nine of Swords, it's stress, it's fear, it's anxiety. And so this tells me that what you're doing, what you're channeling is a new beginning that is not based on fear. It is not structured in a way that really isolates and protects you. I'm not getting that at all. In fact, the isolation piece, I'm getting the exact opposite. Opening yourself up to new people. New people could be anything. It could be romantic, it could be friendships, whatever the case is here. But what I'm getting is that you're kind of using the negative energy from the past and saying, that's not what I want. And I'm not going to let myself go back into that cycle. I'm not going to use this as kind of a shield or some sort of weapon going forward. I want to come from a place of emotional balance and intelligence and focusing on myself and my stability, my long-term happiness here. And it feels like that's what you're doing. And that's why it's showing up here as a strength. And so showing up in your near future, I am getting the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is movement. It's moving away from something that just doesn't work for you anymore. It's building a life of isolation or structuring it in a way that protects you, but it also prevents your happiness at the same time. I'm just getting, there was a period in the past where fear really dictated what you did, and it structured your life in such a way that you weren't really enjoying it. You weren't having the fun that you thought you could be having. And so this tells me that you're very aware of it and you're walking away from it. You're really going down this path of, I know who I am, I know what I want, and I'm going to go down that path. And I'm not really letting anything stop me. It's the Emperor that actually does show up here along the way. And so when I look at how the universe is shaping the situation, I am getting at the Tower with the Three of Cups. So now the Tower, I just got the isolation. So this is what, there was a breakthrough that happened here. And that's exactly how this one feels. It feels like some sort of internal breakthrough that said, you know what, in order for me to achieve the happiness, Three of Cups. So this could be friendships, take it as it makes sense for you. But I'm getting the sense here that structuring your life in the old way of letting fear really dictate how things played out, that wasn't going to work anymore. Not if you were going after your goals or your dreams, or you were at this period emotionally, you were just ready for more. And so the universe said, okay, we hear you. You are ready for more. So let's intervene. Let's remove all the blocks and barriers, any obstacles in the way, so that you can just focus on your happiness here. What's showing up here in your hopes or fears is the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is a painful ending. It's being stabbed in the back. And so it's a very painful ending here, but it feels like it's connected to this Nine of Swords, that you in the past were protecting yourself to the point where you weren't really enjoying life. You were just kind of a version of yourself, this kind of shell of who you really want to be. And so the Ten of Swords, it is a painful ending. And it feels like this was an event in the past, and you're open to a new chapter and a new beginning. But what you don't want is to fall back into a cycle where it leads to that Ten of Swords again. And that's why you had structured your life. So the way it's playing out, there was an event. And after that event, that Ten of Swords event, you structured your life in a way that really said, we're not going to go down that path. We're not even going to let that come near us again. And so structuring your life in such a way that Ten of Swords was not going to be possible. But what you recognized in this cycle here was that, okay, but this isn't really working for me either, because I'm not really happy. I'm not getting everything I want out of this situation. And so you're open to kind of a new way of operating and living and just existing and creating your happiness again and focusing on what really matters. But you also don't want to invite trouble back into your life. You don't want to end up back in a Ten of Swords situation. And that's how this Ten of Swords is coming through. We'll see what else comes up when I clarify. I don't get the sense that you will. I feel like you've gone through a lot of emotional growth, and it happened here during this time period. It was grounded in that Ten of Swords moment, but you learned a lot during the period where you isolated yourself. It's now, okay, I've learned from my past experiences. That's not going to happen again, because I don't feel like it will. I don't. And so when I look at your potential outcome here, I am getting the Four of Pentacles along with the Emperor. So that Four of Pentacles is your solid foundation. This is what you're doing. You're rebuilding yourself. It's that Judgment energy. Also with the Emperor, it's another 4 card, a lot of a solid foundation here. And so the Emperor is my way or the highway. So it feels a lot like you're stepping back into your own power, this kind of version of yourself that embraces exactly what you want, that's not afraid to open yourself up to new possibilities, emotional possibilities. Underneath that King of Cups is the Fool. And it feels like you're creating a new cycle for yourself, one where you're not going to be controlled or manipulated. There isn't going to be an opportunity for the Ten of Swords. You would see this coming a mile away because of all the work that you've been doing for yourself. So let's get some additional detail here. With the Ace of Pentacles and the Judgment, I am getting the Two of Pentacles. This is balancing priorities, figuring out what really works for you. I'm also getting a lot of progress here. So you're starting out on the path. You're taking it one step at a time. You're really focused and driven to go after what makes sense and not putting any effort against things that don't. This is where I don't feel like you're going to invite the Ten of Swords back into your life, because you're being very methodical in your approach to this new beginning. You're coming across as very grounded and stable, taking care of yourself, taking care of your needs. There's nothing impulsive about this new chapter. With the Page of Cups, I'm getting the Page of Cups. So really opening up, having heartfelt conversations, talking to other people, getting to know other people, not being afraid to express exactly what it is that you want for yourself. The universe wants you to open up emotionally. With the Magician, I'm getting the Death card. So change and transformation. It's Scorpio energy, so it's endings and new beginnings. And exactly this. You created this new beginning. Underneath the King of Cups was the Fool, but I've got the Magician, which is a 1 card. So it's a new beginning, something that you created with the Death card. And Ace of Pentacles, you're in something grounded and stable and long-lasting. Clarifying the Nine of Swords, I have the Star card. So there you are, showing up loud and clear. I love this. Aquarius energy. This here is a lot of healing. It's focusing on what you really want. It's healing from the past. The more that you focus and kind of point yourself in the direction of your goals and dreams, the easier it is to heal from the past. You start to distinguish the two and identify, you know what, that wasn't going to work for me anyway, or I'm going to be able to see the signs of something like this approaching again. It's something along those lines. I'm just getting a lot of you opening up to your feelings and your personal growth and just going after exactly what you want. So clarifying the Eight of Cups here, I am getting the Empress with the 10 of Cups. So the Empress energy, it's Venus, rules relationships. So you could be heading towards a new relationship. If the 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords was connected to an old person, it feels like you're finally putting that away. You're not interested in going back into the past. It really is leaving it all behind. But the Empress to me is also coming across as a healing energy. And with the 10 of Cups, you're focused on your long-term emotional fulfillment. You're not interested in compromising or sacrificing anything. But again, I'm drawn to the King of Cups. You're very realistic in your approach here. You're not interested in these kind of quick wins. You want something that's grounded and stable and long lasting. Clarifying the 3 of Cups, I have the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands is the wounded warrior. And so when I see this here, it was blocking your happiness. That's exactly what it was. The way that phase where you had structured things based on the 10 of Swords that happened prior, you were blocking your own happiness. You're not interested in doing that anymore. Now that you can kind of see what life is like when you don't have that limitation with you, when you're not trying to structure and prevent some sort of painful ending or any kind of pain in that way, you were also preventing any kind of happiness. And that's not really what you want either. So with the Tower, I'm getting the Queen of Wands. So Queen of Wands, it inspired action on your part. So when the universe came in and said, we're going to remove these blocks and barriers, we're going to open things up for you, it inspired you to take some sort of action here. You were not one that was just going to sit there and say, okay, that's great. It was more of, okay, I'm ready. Let's move forward. I want happiness. I want to explore life again and just enjoy everything that it has to offer. Clarifying the 10 of Swords, I'm getting the High Priestess. Trusting yourself and trusting your instincts. The more that you pay attention to your emotions, that King of Cups energy, the more that you are in touch with your intuition, High Priestess energy, the easier it is to identify a 10 of Swords, a 9 of Swords, any kind of pain showing up along the path, because you're going to start to kind of listen to the warning signs that your body gives you, because it feels like when you look back in the history and you look at the experience and you really take it all the way back to the beginning of that experience, you're going to identify things that you kind of already suspected or already knew, but maybe you had dismissed or ignored or minimized in some sort of way. And so that is not going to be the case going forward. That's where I'm picking up the 10 of Swords is not going to happen again, because you're now listening to yourself. You're listening to that internal warning system that says, something here isn't right. You need to do something about it. Tell me about the 4 of Pentacles with the Emperor. King of Cups and the Judgment. So that King of Cups and the Judgment showing up here, I love this, because you're really stepping back into your own power. You're creating this new foundation for yourself. You're giving yourself the freedom to really go after what you want, but you're very strategic in your approach, and you're just kind of in this, I'm going for it, and I'm going to be aware of any kind of pitfalls that might come up along the way, but I'm going for it. That's exactly how your energy is coming through. So Aquarius, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.